Welcome to episode 121 of the Inside Bite. I'm your host, Tim Schaefer. I remember my co-host, Rudy. What you doing this Halloween?
Hey, actually, well, of course we're gonna take the kids trick or treating, but usually every year we try to do something adult at least. But I don't know. Looks like this year, just keeping it simple. I guess I don't know. No plans really. Watch some Halloween movies, maybe play some games. That's about it. Nothing much going on this year. So, and Halloween's on a Tuesday, which to me is like one of the worst days for Halloween to be on. But I don't know.
Yeah, it's my
Plans are-
wife went out like Saturday night and do whatever downtown with a bunch of friends and all that.
Mhm.
But I just haven't had a day where I didn't have to work on something. So
Right.
I somehow pulled Saturday off to where, okay, like I had to do about three things, but it didn't last too long. Like, okay, kids soccer game, some other like small miscellaneous things. But
Right.
otherwise, I was able to just chill 95% of the day.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it was great.
That's really
I
awesome.
think it's been probably 2 months since I've been able to just like have a day like that. So that was
Yeah.
really nice.
Yeah, it's
So,
been nice. I have a similar feel in terms of video games at least. Like I played more video games in the last, I don't know, 2 weeks than I have at all lately. And we'll talk about it later, but there's nothing like a good Mario game to pull me out of like a rut like that. So
yeah.
definitely pretty awesome.
Figured we'd do with the main topic and like lean into Halloween stuff. And I
Mm-hmm.
was just trying to think of, okay, what are some of our like go tos when it comes to different Halloween material, different
Sure.
mediums, whether it's like music, movies, gaming, whatever.
Right.
And I listed a whole bunch here. I spent about 5-10 minutes just like going through my head trying to think of what
Sure.
it all would be. But
Right.
I'm gonna list mine, but I'm curious if there's anything you can think of, if
Yeah.
anything horror related or Halloween, anything that even relates to any of that. If you can think of one, any movies, music would be I feel a little harder. There's a little
Right.
specific. So I'm really into punk music, right? And because of
Yep.
that, there is this horror punk genre, which is really unique only to punk music and nothing else.
Gotcha.
So because of that, there's a few like horror punk bands to listen to. Otherwise, movies and games. What are just some of your favorites, or some you just
Yeah.
have big memories with? Anything like that?
Yeah. So I threw some on there because I saw your list. I didn't come up with anything for music, but for movies and games. So movies, I put Um, A Quiet Place. Ever since I saw that movie, I always, pretty much every year, check it out again. Any Friday the 13th movie, I always like revisiting. Evil Dead and Nightmare Before Christmas is one that I really just enjoy for literally any time of year, pretty much. But I figured I'd throw that one on there. So yeah,
I
those are some of the
forgot
movies.
to put one on there when you said Nightmare Before Christmas. I was thinking not that, but Edward Scissorhand
Oh
is
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like that's
Classic.
my. I think that's my favorite like Tim Burton film if I were to think
Yeah,
on that level.
it's a good one.
Yep, and I really like that second Batman movie with the Penguin.
Oh
Batman
yes.
Returns, I think. Very
Was it
very
Returns? Yeah.
vibes there. Yeah.
No, definitely a good one. And as for games, I put Until Dawn. That's always a good one to play with a group of people. And then Dark Pictures Anthology, any of them really. Obviously, some are better than others, but it's kind of apt that they all come out around Halloween anyway, so that kind of works out. The Evil Within, I thought was a really spooky game, good game to play around that time, and of course Resident Evil 4, which is one of my all-time favorites. So
What do you do with Resident Evil 4? It's so different than Resident Evil 1 through 3.
yeah, that's true.
Is 4 your favorite in the series?
Um, it might be honestly. Yeah, I think so. I think if I had
Okay.
to put a stamp on it right now, yeah, I'd probably pick 4, especially after the remake.
Because I always went like I started with 2, went back and played 1 back in
Right.
PS1 days.
Right.
3 was like always my favorite out of 1, 2, and 3. And then when
Three's
4
awesome.
came out, I really liked it. But I'm like, man, I wish there was a good balance between, because 4 is very action focused and 5 lean even harder into that, and especially 6, right? But 4 was like, it left too many things that I loved about the ones prior. But if I just forget everything and just try to like rate a game on its own, like I think 4 would be a better critical game than the ones prior. But in terms of
Right.
my nostalgia and my just excitement, for some reason 3 just always hits the high for me. And I just really like the more I don't know, isometric view and
Right.
very just a lot more scary than Four's action. Um, so it would be neat. It just got me thinking when Resident Evil, whenever we get like a new game, because 7 and 8 there's a whole new approach to that. But I would love to see somehow them blending where it's like the vibe of 1, 2, and 3, like OGs, where it's like third person, cameras pulled out a bit, almost like Silent Hill and all that, right? I would love
Right.
to see a new Resident Evil take that approach, like we got with that game. It wasn't too hot. The
One was
Bloober
it?
team did.
Oh, oh my God, what's it called? I know exactly what you're talking about. Where you had the two perspectives. What was
Yeah,
that called
yeah.
again?
It was
Oh,
it
now,
was it was good. I loved the atmosphere of it and the vibe. It's just the gameplay was whatever.
Put the
Yeah,
headphones on.
for some reason I
Just
can't
ask me.
I can't remember that game, but I would love to see a Resident Evil go back to that style real
right,
badly. That'd be
right.
super cool.
I think that would be cool. I think they've. The thing is, I don't know if they would because they found so much success with doing what they've been doing, right? But I agree with you that that would be a risk worth taking. Like that'd be awesome if we got a brand new game in the style, like the old school style, some updated, I don't know, some updated controls and maybe make it more playable, because Resident Evil 1, for example, the original, great game, but man,
Yeah,
it's
those
kind of hard to play
controls are
that today.
terrible. I mean,
They're
it's
not good.
so
Yeah.
hard to be able to like just shoot a zombie.
Right, exactly.
Like you can't really aim or anything, and you're just kind of blindly shooting, and it's a little jank. But if they
Right,
can get
right.
the controls right, but that same vibe, which that game that for some reason is slipping my mind and is driving me crazy,
Oh my God,
it
I'm gonna
the
find this right now. That's
the
bothering me.
controls were fine. Like they were able to nail down the feel.
The
Same with
medium. The
yeah.
medium.
Okay. Same with Silent Hill, right? It felt
Yep.
fine. So like they could do it.
Yeah, I agree. I liked that game. I know some people had bad things to say about it, but personally
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
it's a good old like 7 for me. Nothing too
Yeah,
wild, but yeah.
decent game. Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry for the sidetrack there, but um, so any okay, well let me just go through my list here. So
Okay.
music I have Misfits, Coffin Caddies, and Tiger Army. They're very Misfits is pretty big and well known at this point, but those other two, I don't think like Coffin Caddies. They're actually from Tampa area in Florida. I found them through like local means, but they actually are decently big. And then Tiger Army is pretty well known throughout the states, but another just horror punk vibe. And then shifting over to movies, The Fly is like my always
Yeah,
like
good one.
go to. It's funny because most movies from that era or even older do not age well at all. But yet somehow this movie still grosses me out every time I watch it, even today. Even if I mean, there's not CG, it's just practical effects.
Right.
So in a lot of ways, it makes it hold up a lot better. And just the way it's shot and done, it even though it looks really gross and there's a lot of effects going on, it's done to where it doesn't really age that poorly. And I think it still holds up really well. I want to say like late 70s, early 80s. I forget the year on that. And then one that is my favorite horror movie of all of it is Alien, the original of that.
Yep.
Genuinely scary because the sequel or anything after, it's almost like with Resident Evil to where they went a lot more action focused and all that. But that original Alien is super just slow and scary and really get you in your feels there.
Oh yeah.
Scary Movie 1 and 2, I despise anything past that. 3, 4, 5 all suck and are terrible movies, but 1 and 2 I think are like still hold up as some of the best, like even just comedy
Yep.
movies.
They're so fun.
So good. So good.
I totally agree.
I
Other ones
even
suck.
like 1 a little more than 2. Most people hold 2 there, but 1 and 2 classics. Casper, I just would watch that movie all the time when I was like 10, 11, 12 years old. It came out, the one that came out in like the early 2000s. I know this character has been around since literally 1950s, black and white sort of cartoons. But, and then Donnie Darko, really, really attached to that movie. And then weirdly, Ernest Scared Stupid, for some reason, it's just, it still does all the time. I mean, if you had cable television, none of us have it anymore. They just loved to just play this
Just throw it
24/7
on
on.
all
I know,
the
but
time.
it used to just weirdly creep me out because the whole premise was, um, they would just turn these kids into wooden dolls, and I would have legit nightmares growing up thinking I was like going to get turned into a wooden doll or be turned into a wooden doll stuck in a tree and just being able to watch everybody like look at me in a park but not be able to do anything about it. And God, I'm talking years of nightmares over this stupid movie. And the funniest thing is in the movie, the thing that cures it is like, oh, you need the mother's milk. Is so fucking weird. So they literally go and just buy a ton of like milk from a grocery store and just start squirting them in these water guns all over the people in the town to unfreeze them from the wood. It's just
Jeez.
so ridiculous. But anyway, a lot of weird memories with that. And then when we go
That's
over to the
hilarious.
game side, Kingdom Hearts, Halloween Town, somehow just like I really do like Nightmare Before Christmas, but when I think about it, for some reason I think even more on this Halloween Town, specifically in Kingdom Hearts. 1, 2, I want to say even in 3, but they revisit all throughout the series. You go to this area and you can see like new parts of it you haven't seen before, all pulling from the source material. But somehow being able to, when I really enjoy a world that's created by whoever, however, if I get to like explore that world in a video game, it's so much more enjoyable. It's like when you got to play the Final Fantasy VII remake, right? And you actually get to like pan the camera around of these environments that you only had like one perspective in. And in Halloween Town, that's what I'll say. I was able to like genuinely like really focus in on different characters, really check places out that you only get to really see as the movie's going. But it's not like you can just pause the movie and then spin the camera around 360 and check different things in the environment out or whatever. So I'm just really enjoy the atmosphere of the movie. And they did a really good job of throwing in that land into Kingdom Hearts, and it's
Yeah,
always one of the highlights of my memories of that specific area. Playing Kingdom
that's
Hearts
cool.
growing up, so that was really big
Definitely a
for
good
me.
one.
Now I put Resident Evil 7. I've been thinking about this, and it's like the more time goes by, I think this is my favorite Resident Evil.
It's so good.
When I played 8, I mean 8 is really strong too, but for some reason Resident Evil 7 was like one of the scariest horror games I've ever played.
Yeah.
It
Yep.
still holds up and insanely all the way back from whenever we got that kitchen demo with the roaches in the pot and all of that mess, but it just bled into
Oh, it's
that
so
whole
gross.
mansion with the family. I mean, they somehow took like it's that Texas Chainsaw Massacre type family and somehow made it even scarier than they ever did with any of those films. And I legit think that environment, and especially when you go to the the cabin against the lake there, it gets,
hmm
I don't know. I just think that game is like one of the top horror games to exist.
Well, it does horror so well, and think about what it was coming off the back of, right? Resident Evil 6. So
Yeah.
they could have given us even a decent horror game, and people would be like, "Wow!" But it really is an amazing horror game. So yeah, I agree with you.
Luigi's Mansion, any of them,
Good one.
can't go wrong there. I love the vibes there. It's definitely not scary, but it's incredible in its atmosphere. So, and then Castlevania, literally anything. You're talking NES games to the recent anime stuff to Symphony of the Night or Rondo of Blood to any of the GBA DS games, whatever. Even like the 360 games with Lords of Shadows. Like, I mean, Castlevania hardly missed. The only era that was bad was like that N64, PS2 games were kind of meh. But you're talking like 90% of the time Castlevania's hitting really hard, and I love the music, the atmosphere. It's perfect in my opinion. Really good stuff.
It's great.
Yeah,
it's so well done. Remember that era where we were getting a new Castlevania game like every year?
Yeah,
on Game Boy Advance. Man, those were good times. Jeez,
because it went all the way from like, because you're talking NES, SNES, PS1, GBA, DS, and it was just like constant. Like if you weren't getting one every year, maybe even getting 2 a year kind of level, and then it just kind of stopped. And then we got those 2 like Lords of Shadows games, and then some weird spin-off jank BS of 1 or 2 things, and that's about it. But that's just because Konami as a whole just kind of like stopped doing gaming. But that's the one thing that really sucks is like I need some Castlevania back badly. I can't. Talk about me getting hyped as if we got an announcement for that. That's what would hype me.
That would be amazing. And the thing is, they weren't even bad games. They were putting out quality games for each one, and they were coming out fast.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, how do they do this? But
yeah,
maybe one day.
All right. Let's go ahead and keep the spooky vibes going while we get into the news. Get into the news here. Alan Wake 2. Let's go ahead and do the review roundup for that. It's at an 88 on Metacritic. Hitting around where Starfield hit, which again, it's no high 90s like Tears of the Kingdom or even low 90s like we're getting with Mario and Spider-Man and all that. But I'm still more hyped on this level than I am for a lot of that other stuff. And I mean, it's been a long, long time coming. This is where, I mean, I started here with Remedy with Alan Wake 1. Really, really liked it. After this, I got somehow even more into Quantum Break. And then Control is great. But I never thought that none of us knew to pretty much a year or 2 ago, pretty much till we got that Control DLC, that they were planning on all of this combining into an overall like narrative, all of this stuff they were releasing. So when you play Alan Wake 2, it's all coming together, and it's far more than just a sequel to Alan Wake 2. This is a sequel to Control in really big ways, and people aren't talking on that level. I don't want to say too much, but do know, I think I can go as far as to say this, of the in Control, you have the Federal Bureau of Control, I think is the organization name.
Whatever it's called,
Well, in Alan Wake, it's called, because I was just replaying it, and I was like, oh, and it clicked. Alan Wake's is Federal Bureau of the name of the area, Bright Falls or whatever.
Okay.
So what it's getting at is there, and then when you play, and I'll go ahead and say, when you play Alan Wake 2, it's right in the beginning, the first like 30 minutes to an hour, you'll see it. There's a guy that works for the Federal Bureau of Control that's up in Alan Wake 2 fixing some tech stuff. And you can go inside of one of their little like trailers that have set up with tech, and you see Control stuff up in there. So
I gotta say, I think I'm pretty good at following stories usually, but after playing Control, I really am quite lost. So hopefully when I play Alan Wake 2, I'm going to play Remastered first. And then when I play 2, hopefully I can, watch some recaps, whatever, to get what I need. before I play 2. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But I love Control the game. I thought it was a blast to play.
88 Metacritic, like I said, 100 by Push Square. Like a mystery once thought solved, Alan Wake 2 reopens the case for what's possible in its genre. Oh, I must say too, so at the end of Alan Wake,
wait, do I want to hear this? Because
no,
I'm going to play
it's
it.
not. I'm trying to think of a way of not. I'm not going to spoil it for people, so I'm just trying to think of a way. It's clearly not over at the end of the game.
Okay.
And Alan Wake is clearly still in a situation that you're going to find yourself in within the first 2 hours of the game. He's still in that situation even by the end of the game. Know that.
Okay, but people when they played this game,
he helped other people, but he's still in a bad spot.
I see.
Okay.
So
in this game, he is also still in the same bad spot. That's what I'll say. So that I don't think that ruins anything there.
But when this game came out 13 years ago, whatever, people didn't expect a sequel. Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or if they did, they gave up a few years later, not 13 years, still expecting it. So,
sure.
Anyway, it's a delight to relive classic horror titles through modern remakes, but what Remedy has cooked up here is something special. A gust of fresh air aiming to revitalize video game horror. There's expansive lore and a twisting story that might not be for everyone, but the developer packs so much exciting and unique ideas into the ambitious sequel that you can't help but play along with a nervous smile on your face. With stunning visuals, pitch perfect tone and atmosphere, brilliant pacing, and a fascinating mystery to sink your teeth into, there's no twist or turns about it. Alan Wake 2 is an all-timer. Got a 90 from Twin Infinite. The 13 years the sequel took have resulted in a game that is fun to play and furthers not only the Alan Wake lore, but also makes me incredibly excited for where this universe goes with Control 2. Also, I want to slip in here. The amount of time that's taken place also takes place in the game. So Alan Wake 2 is also 2023, 13 years after Alan Wake 1, which released in 2010, but the events also took place in 2010 in its story lore. So we're actually, it's keeping up with the current time and how much time has placed, which is really, really neat there.
Got it.
While my playthrough hit a snag that's since been fixed, I can still honestly say the rest of the game was a delight to play. If you've done all you can in the Resident Evil 4 remake and are looking for the next great survival horror to dig your teeth into, Alan Wake 2 is it. A 90 by IGN, Alan Wake 2 delivers on one of the boldest and most brain-bending survival horror storylines this side of Silent Hill 2. Presents it with uniformly uniformly immaculate art direction and audio design, and revigorates the series' signature light-based shooting as though it's been locked and loaded with a fresh pack of energizers. Also, yes, it feels. I mean, we'll get into it. It looks, feels the whole 9 yards. It actually feels modern and great on all fronts. I just must say, because when I was playing Alan Wake Remastered, I was like, "Ooh, this is rough." I remember it being rough for the time. It's even more just like it's hard to play. I think. Anyway, even though its skill upgrade system seemed a little superfluous, and there was a few repeated cliches in Saga's story that stuck in my craw, I nonetheless found both sides of this twisted tale to be endlessly fascinating, frequently fear-inducing, and constantly surprising. Alan Wake 2 is a superb survival horror sequel that makes the cult classic original seem like more than a rough first draft by comparison. I mean, we recently got Control, right? And you know how that plays and feels. I think even is a little on the slippery side. This doesn't even feel that. This feels even far better than how Control felt to me, in the way it plays.
I've heard that that even on PC and consoles I guess specifically the PC, like the requirements are so high Like,
No, if you want the new features of the new ray tracing stuff it's doing. The same with like you would
gotcha.
think with Cyberpunk, they're doing the new
Okay,
stuff.
okay,
It's not the same new tech, but it's different new tech based around ray tech when it comes to like
got it.
translucent things and how light bleeds in or whatever. They're trying a bunch of new things. But if you just turn that off, it'll run just
Okay,
like any other
yeah,
game.
I'm gonna
It's
mess with
totally
it.
fine.
I'm gonna mess
Um,
with it and see.
yeah, yeah. But don't
Okay,
think that there's anything like wrong outside of
right. It's
just
not like a
trying to.
busted
No.
PC port like all these other games. Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah, it's very optional stuff that you can turn on and mess with if you can handle it, kind
Okay.
of thing. So,
Very cool.
I'm I love it, and
Great.
especially like so. I played the first 4 or 5 hours of Alan
Right.
Wake Remastered. Bought it because it
Okay.
was on sale for like $9. I was like, okay, cool. I'll play it. Like I said last episode, beat it, go down like 2. Well, I played as much as I could play, even though I was really enjoying what was going on in the story. It was all kind of coming back to me as I was replaying. It's like, oh, I remember more than I thought I did. But I it it plays so bad and feels so bad, and it even looks like it's. I mean, it's almost to the levels of that Deadly Premonition game, to where it's just like
Oh yeah.
super jank, old, looks gross. And the remasters are really throwing me off too because when it does the cutscenes, I think it's pulled from the original game and maybe cleaned up or something like that, and then goes back. And so, like, when you're playing the game, it looks so much better than when the cutscenes happen. But this game's so full of story that it was screwing me up badly. I was like, this just sucks. And I was just like, I'm just gonna watch a summary of it all, try to refresh that way. And yeah, I watched about 4 different videos, ranging from one being an hour and a half long. I'm not saying you
Oh
have to
jeez.
watch that one all the way till like 10 minutes. I'll say the best one I found, if you're needing a shorter side, there's a 15-minute one done by what's his name? The guy who wrote the game. Is it
Uh,
Sam?
Sam
Sam
Lake.
Lake. Yes, yes, yes. Sam Lake does a thing with IGN where it's like 15 minutes of him just describing beginning to end of everything you would need to know before playing this game.
Okay.
And I thought that he was like maybe not going to go into certain things because he's the writer and maybe wants to leave things a little vague or whatever. No, he says everything just as well as the most in-depth YouTubers who are trying to break everything down says. He doesn't leave anything on the table that anyone even speculated on. So I think he did a really good job explaining it.
That's
So
awesome.
I would say you could just watch that, and honestly, you'd be good. Now, if you've never played it before,
Yeah, I do want to play it.
like it's really, I don't think you should just watch a summary and play the second, especially if you played Control and Quantum Break. Again, I really, 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 really now more than ever while I'm playing it, I think Quantum Break is actually important. I don't have evidence yet. And when I find it being like the point of like, okay, yep, I'm convinced, right? But there's a lot of things already being shown about that. And I think you're good. The fact that you played that, Rudy, like really helped you in this Alan Wake
Okay.
2.
Okay. Good.
The only thing you're missing now is just the Alan Wake game, which is probably the shortest of the others too. So that works in your favor there. Um,
Got it.
yeah, yeah. Now,
Okay.
yeah, it's just it's gonna play and look rough, but what's being told to you and the story and all that couldn't be any cooler. So just treat it in that manner and know what you're getting into, and I think it's worth doing.
Okay. Yeah.
People are saying that you don't have to, and it's like even the team is saying, hey, you don't really need to play 1 to play 2. I think they're only saying that because they want people to play 2, because they want people to buy it and play it and all of that, right? And they're trying their best to give you a bunch of backstory while you're playing the game. But I'm telling you, having recently just went off of it and just watched a summary of a bunch of stuff, no, it's constant feeding back to the original game, and it's all about Alan Wake. And without going through that experience, it's I think pointless to play the sequel. I don't agree with not playing the game, like at all. Even if the team is saying you totally could, but what do I know? I'm still only a few hours in. Maybe they really do feed it in such a manner, but I don't
Yeah.
see it. I don't see it.
Yeah, I even saw that there's a collection of 6 episodes on YouTube of Bright Falls prequel to Alan Wake that people recommend that you should watch too. I just looked it up and it's right here on YouTube, so maybe I'll check that out before I play it too. It's only 30 minutes for all 6 episodes, so could be a good watch, you know?
Yeah,
something to check
I
out.
haven't seen that, so I can't speak on that. But yeah.
But what is the name of the video that you were mentioning that
the hour
pretty
and
much
a half
talks
one?
about everything? Yeah,
or the
like that,
or the Sam Lake one.
the Sam Lake one that covers
Yeah.
everything that
If
you need.
just
before.
do Sam Lake, Alan Wake 2, you'll literally see it.
Okay. Sam Lake explains the Alan Wake story so far. Perfect.
Yep.
Okay, so I'll save that.
He gets
and
into
I'll watch that
Control
after
DLC. He gets into other things.
I'm gonna watch that after I play Alan Wake 1 and American Nightmare, which is apparently canon. It's from what I read.
It is. Now, I played it when it came out, and I can tell you, basically, in Alan Wake, there's another character called the Scratch. As weird as that is, and American Nightmare, it goes into Alan Wake versus the Scratch and concludes that side of it all. So it's interesting on that front because you are going to need to know about that. And the original game covers this character. They just don't cover where it goes after the game, where American Nightmare goes all into that part of it all after the game, and it takes place after the game.
Yeah, and I'm looking at. I went to How Long to Beat just to see all of them. And I'm looking at this. I'm like, this is very doable. Like, I'm gonna try. I think.
How long is it? Like, I'm gonna say 24.
So, well, first, Alan Wake Remastered says 10 hours, right? But then the 2 episodes that come with the remastered version are an hour and a half each. So we're talking about 13 hours so far, right? It says American Nightmare is about 3.5.
DLC episodes, I think you don't have to play them, but if they're short enough, maybe go ahead.
Yeah, an hour and a half. I mean, no big deal. American Nightmare says it's about 3.5, right? So we're looking at 16 and a half so far. And then I don't know how many entries are in for Alan Wake 2 so far, but right now it says 14 hours. So I don't know how accurate that is. It's only been 6 people that have done it. But that sounds like what I would expect from a game like that. You know, so we're talking about what, like less than 30 hours total to catch up on all these games. So I'll definitely do it.
I'm just surprised that it's far better than I was ever expecting, because I was super excited on just the story side of like, oh, wonder what's going to happen next, and with all of this world that was created. But dude, I think it's better than Resident Evil 4. I do. I really, really, really do. I've played a few hours of that, and I've played a few hours of this, and this feels so much better, looks so much better, it's far more interesting. I mean, right when you start, you're just naked man walking like from a lake shore, and some super batshit crazy things go down. And like serial level, lots. Do not allow a kid to watch you play this. The amount of just horror on display is really gruesome, very adult, and you're FBI agents, and they really lean to it really cool way. The amount of like detective work and trying to figure out what's going on, they really let you do a lot of the discovery and detective work stuff with it all in the game, and
very cool.
It's really, really well done.
I can't wait, man. I'm excited to jump into to the first one, and I know it'll be a little dated, but that's okay. And then play the second one. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. Did you get to see this Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater, that Delta? Because we got some in-game engine, so it's about 3 minutes. Check that out. Skim through it right here, but you can see just.
Oh man, this makes me so excited.
It's not a trailer; it's more just showing off the engine. but you can tell when you watch this, they're keeping everything. They're not trying to change anything. They're keeping it all faithful.
Yep.
Like everything's the exact same size area. Even like you're even going to the same different screens. You're seeing the same like okay, there's a patch of grass here, the same trees here, the same
Right.
buildings here, all of that. So
Oh man, I know that you're probably the biggest Metal Gear fan that I know, but I don't think there's a bigger fan of Metal Gear Solid 3 than myself. So I'm super pumped for this. I
yes,
can't wait.
yes, yes.
Looks great. I know a
Now
lot of people
I
are
think
down on it
three
because
is the weakest out of 1 through 5 or whatever, but I still
sure,
love the game. I still love them all.
sure.
Metal Gear Solid 3 is still far better than so much other stuff that's out there.
I
Yeah, I
loved it.
mean,
I
it's
loved it.
still a solid 9 in my opinion, but
For
um,
me, I know some people think it's crazy, but for me, 2 and 4 to me are the ones that I didn't like as much as the rest. Not that I didn't think they were bad. I
yeah.
just didn't. I don't know. Just didn't vibe with them as much. But yeah, this I'm super pumped for. So I know some people are mad that Kojima's not in it. Listen, would I like Kojima in it? Yes. But do I think they're going to completely screw this up? No, I don't think so. I think it'll still be good.
I mean, the
I don't think.
fact that they're not changing much and all they're really doing is giving it a facelift,
Right.
that makes me have more faith in this project because
Right.
as long as they can keep everything the same and we can have a similar experience but just to look better, then cool. Like I don't see how they could really screw it up too badly. But the only thing I could really say is when I was watching this, like I don't know. Snake doesn't really look like Snake. It looks like somebody playing Snake or something. It looks a little like I can tell it's not Kojima making it. Everything feels like slightly off and a little different and not like super like I think Kojima would do a better job, but at the same time he knows himself probably that he would spend way too much time on it and it would be like a 3 year project because he'd be fine focusing on every tiny detail and trying to get perfect and all that mess. And to just have a different team, just give it a facelift. Honestly, I think it's totally fine. And I am excited and I'm going to play it. And seeing this, like, gets me to understand what's going on with this project and has me excited now that nothing too bad should happen from this. It makes me
Yeah.
want to play it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm excited. We don't have any sort of time frame or anything for when
No,
it's coming, I guess.
I mean I'm assume next year, but who knows? Who knows? I think they're
All right.
even using the same voice from the original and all of that as well. I don't think they're.
That's
I
cool.
think I saw a story where they weren't re-recording anything.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
I'm totally fine with it. The only thing I could think of, which I can't remember if Metal Gear Solid 3 even does, do they mention like specific PlayStation buttons and all of that? Because in a lot of games they do, but I can't remember in 3
You know
how.
what? That's a good question. I really truly can't remember.
Because they a lot of the times with any of the games they'll be breaking the fourth wall and describing something specific to like a PlayStation controller or a button or referencing something out with the video game console itself and all that. So I don't know how you
Right.
really handle that with this. If it is going to be like a 1-for-1 thing, maybe they have to like re-record a few words and make it sound as close
Yeah.
as possible or something. I don't know how you do that, but
I just want to make sure they don't change the sequence when you're climbing the ladder and the music's playing.
yeah.
Oh man, that's my favorite part.
My favorite
don't touch
bit
that.
about Metal Gear Solid 3 is Ocelot. Especially even the fight with him. So cool. But the fight aside, I love he's so just young but crazy talented and I don't know because in anything where you see Ocelot later on he's already old and this is the only time you get to see him just very like young and sprung and it's super fun to watch him in 3 so
Yeah. Yep. And one cool touch that I remember reading about is when you fight the end, you can fast forward the time on your PlayStation to kill him. I was like, that's so cool. Like they think of this, or like Kojima always used to do cool stuff like that. Remember Psycho Mantis when you move your controller? You thought that was so cool back in the day. It's just like so many creative
so I am
things,
curious how they're going to do that because even with 3 there's not just that one example. There's a few things to where time matters and I'm curious how they even handle all of that with new stuff. So anyway, it's exciting to see. It's good to understand what the vision is here with this. So it's neat.
All right, next one. Wolverine game set in the same universe as Marvel Spider-Man. Insomniac confirms. In an interview with Kind of Funny, Spider-Man 2 director Brian Intihar confirmed the answer is yes. When host Craig Miller asked if he had been previously confirmed or denied whether or not their spin-on Wolverine shared the same Earth as in Spider-Man, Intihar replied by saying they're all 1048. I think I got that right, but yeah, Intihar is referring to Earth 1048, which is the designation for the Marvel Universe Insomniac superhero games occupy. That's cool. Very, very cool.
Do you think it's just going to be like a little reference or two, or do you really think they may like lean? I kind of hope they lean into it, but at the same time, I don't want it to go too wild. Like, if they can just go to Spider-Man and leave it there, cool. But if they go to these levels where they're referencing all of this Marvel stuff and it becomes like this way bigger scope game than just about Wolverine, then no, I don't want that. But if they can limit it to Spider-Man stuff and maybe some Easter eggs to other things, then cool, I'm about it. I don't know. There's just a fine line there. Just because I don't want the main plot to pivot, because I still want a very like adult, gritty Wolverine game. You know.
Yep. I agree. Yeah, no, I'm definitely looking forward to whatever they do with it. But man, I got to play Super Mario, Spider-Man 2 first. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Now, we're going to get into what we're watching when we're playing and figured we'd talk on Mario, but I shared this story because right as I was like making the document here, I came across this on IGN. Did you play this level? Because I did. So I was playing it last night. I died 12 times. I had 10 lives. I got game over for the first time, restarted, died 2 more times, and then beat it like my 13th attempt. I remember very vividly because of doing a bunch of things. Did you finish this one? Did you?
Yes. Okay. I did beat this. I always say out of all genres of games and different kinds of games, like anything platforming, that's like my forte. Like I think I died a few times, but yeah, it's super challenging. Yeah, totally. But
the story is like a bunch of players complaining, like, dude, you get like hundreds of lives, and I'm just like,
that's a little ridiculous. Like something you're not learning from your mistakes. Like, come on.
But it made me feel good. I was like, oh, I was actually able to beat this because so many people are just not able to. Because I remember. So what we're talking about here is there's a level called Jump.
Oh, that level, yeah.
But there's 2 of them. There's a jump one where it's almost like an introduction to it, and you play through the level, and every time you do the jump, color changes, you jump onto the next block, and then it goes faster and faster as you go through the level. Well, there's a second one in the secret world that you get to where it's a much harder version of it. I want to say they apply like a 5-star to it, and this time around, not only you just kind of go through the stage as fast as possible, left or right. Well, it's a lot of verticality, and you have to be pixel perfect in your jumps. And not just a matter of jumping verticality, but you have to be able to wall jump against multiple blocks. And while you're jumping on a longer platform, being able to easily turn around and jump again, but fast enough because you don't even have a half a second. You have to actually jump and immediately jump again. And if you're not just moving the entire time, you're dead.
And you have to kind of go to the beat of the song, which I like. It's like, it keeps shifting. Well, I guess now that we're here, like in terms of Super Mario Wonder, man, what a game! There's so many little touches that I love. Like even something as small as putting the little difficulty markers on the levels or the badges. Although I will say, I have totally defaulted now to the badge where you spin in the air, you do like a higher jump.
The dolphin.
I just think it's
not
the dolphin one. Oh, I don't know what it's called, but basically you jump in the air, and if you press R, you spin and do a higher jump again in midair. It's super useful. It's a really, really good one.
I don't think I have that one. Now man,
so good.
I don't know what world I'm in because I'm kind of going all over, right? The way it's
What does it look
designed
like?
isn't just straightforward 1, 2, 3,
Right.
4, 5, 6. So
The last 3 you can do however you want, which I think was cool.
yeah, so I'm kind of jumping all over. Now I've done I don't know, I'd have to look at a map, but it's like, the first world, and then there's like there's the cloud world one, and then
Yep.
there's a
Yep.
bunch of like, I don't know, like different areas outside of sidestep worlds, and there's a bunch of
Well,
levels, so you can go like under a world.
in the
And
middle is the Petal Isles. Is that what you're referring to? Maybe in the middle that connects everything is Petal Isles. You can collect stuff in there.
yeah.
The fluffy world, the
I
cloud
did
world is
all of
above it.
that. I did the cloud
Okay.
world.
Okay.
And then I've now in a lot of the secret world stuff. And then I don't think
Gotcha.
I've actually even. What's World 3? What does it look like?
Hold on.
No,
The
I did
desert world's
I
world
did a
4.
water world level stuff too.
The
There's
desert.
a water area. So I've
Hold
done
on.
a
Let me
lot
tell
of
you right
water
now.
levels. I did a lot of the first petal ones. I did a lot of the cloud ones.
Okay, so I can't remember the third world because there's the pipe place. There's the fluffy clouds. The world 4 is the desert place.
I
The world
haven't
5
seen desert.
is the fungi mines, and world 6
I
is
haven't seen that.
the magma.
So I
what the
think I think it's just 1, 2, and 3, and then secret stuff
Okay.
is where
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
still.
Gotcha. So I don't know what's gotten into me. I did predict that this would happen, but I just can't put the game down. It's so addictive. And every time I beat a level, I'm very meticulous, trying to get all 3 purple coins, hitting
Right?
every flagpole, and getting the wonder seed in each level. And I like how they put another little touch on the levels done. You might have 2 wonder seeds, 3 purple coins, and the flag, and it doesn't have the little green check watermark. The little green check watermark that shows me I got to go back in and find another wonder seed. So I look a little closer. Eventually, you get a badge that's a sensor badge too, where it'll alert you when you're close to it, which I thought was cool. But yeah, I've gone back. So now I've done all 6 worlds plus the Petal Isles. I've gotten every single thing you could possibly get, and I saved all the secret world stuff for the end. In the secret world, I want to say there's like 9 levels. I think I've done like 7 of them, so I'm super close to. The only other thing that I didn't even plan on getting, but now that I'm close, I'm gonna get them is the little standee, like the little figures.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
never
have, like-
really focused on that yet, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I had a ton of purple coins, so I went to the shop and bought as many as I could,
Okay.
and then I've been spending my coins on that when I can. I think I'm up to like 80 of them, so I need
Now,
about.
how do we know if we're finding all? Because there's a secret world, but there's a whole bunch of secret levels as well. Like, I
Yeah,
guess
so
it's hard. Good luck. Like, I guess we're just gonna have to, once we think we have it beaten, then look online and try to see if there's any that we missed.
well, they're actually really good about this. So they tell you for each individual level, if there's a little green check mark, watermark, then you know you've beaten the level, right? But when you completely finish the whole world and everything there is to do, there's going to be a little green check mark at the top next to the number of wonder seeds.
I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
and then when you completely beat the game, it'll like populate in your list of levels. It'll be a question mark.
Okay.
And you have to go there.
Sweet.
So they definitely. I love that they do that, right? Like, okay, I've already beaten the game. Let me now try to clean it up. You know. So I'm almost done with the game. I'm actually pretty sad about it because man, I've had such a great time. That special world is very challenging, but man, I've played so many Mario games and Super Meat Boy. Everything I just like flying through them. That one level was pretty challenging, and there's one other. I want to say it was the bouncing one that gave me a little bit of a hard time because I was trying to collect the coins as I went. But man, overall, super creative. Probably one of the most creative 2D Mario games I've ever played.
Now let's step back and talk on the game design in general, because it's. I mean, so like I said prior, was look, this game again, best 2D Mario we've had since like Super Mario World on SNES.
Yeah, probably.
So it's been ages. But the ideas is I see why. I found a story. Apparently the devs were talking about it, where they were sharing about, well, how do we come up with ideas? And I guess they just literally got thousands of ideas from everyone working within Nintendo from whatever teams, and they allowed people to just pitch a bunch of ideas to them, and then they would apply them in the game. So it makes sense because every level feel so incredibly different with new ideas, and
Oh
nothing
yeah.
ever feels like, even if they use similar stuff in another level, they use it in a different way. Any Mario game prior to this game definitely has never done this before. Like, you will have themes, like a world theme, and then you have, like, different ideas within the theme, and you'll have like a few levels play pretty similar. Um, but I just mean, like, every level is feeling like unlike anything you played prior on many levels, not just, I don't know, the way it looks, or um, a new way to platform or something, but it goes beyond that. It's like they also made it in a way to where you could totally use the badges to help you, but no level like demands a badge. You can
Right.
definitely
That's
pick
true.
whatever badge and still complete a level. Now, could it make it a little easier or harder depending on the badge? Sure, but they don't lean into like, oh, this badge should be for this level. It's not like that.
Right.
But I'm shocked on. I mean, it makes me feel, it's too hard to say right now, but it just makes me feel like in a few years we'll go back and be like, man, this is probably the best 2D Mario game to exist. I can easily see that. The way it controls, there's a whole thing I was seeing Digital Foundry trying to make sense of it, because they're like, well, okay, well, why does this game feel so much better than the new Super Mario Bros? But I guess it has something to do with um, you're immediately stopping in this game when you stop, compared to, like, same with like NES, SNES Mario. But anything after that, it almost like it was like you had momentum and you just sort of slowed down a bit and sped up. But this is like exact precise. And I think that's what sort of ruined. And you could feel immediately when you played this game compared to new Super Mario Bros. You feel like, oh wow, Mario's feeling like how he should. And I think it's just because of that immediate stop. But because of that, you can do exact, precise platforming pixel perfect, where in the past that wasn't
Yep.
possible. So,
Yep. Yep. No, I totally agree. I think it's a fantastic game, one of the very best games of the year for sure. And I think it's a really, really cool evolution of the 2D Mario. And I hope people will give this a try instead of just saying, oh, it's another 2D Mario. This game is nothing like New Super Mario Bros. I'm sorry. It's not even close.
even the, like, animations of the characters, like, from well, I was thinking also sound effects, like when you jump. I love
Oh,
that
yeah.
Mario, like, boom, like old school sounding when he pops
Oh,
off.
yeah.
But just the way, I guess, like, the frames are animated when they move. It's not that, like, I'm getting really sick of the cliche, like, Super Mario World, of like all the way the characters look nowadays, and like the films and new Super Mario Bros. Games, or in like Smash or whatever. It's that very generic, like, um I don't know, cookie cutter sort of, like, I don't know how to describe it. It was just looking boring, and everything was looking the same, and it wasn't like, it was clean, but it wasn't very that, like, creative and imaginative and interesting to look at. But
Mm-hmm.
this game, the characters actually are back to looking great again, and
I
like
totally
looking
agree.
really just fun and fresh and really just interesting on top of that. So
Yep. Yep. No,
yeah.
it's quite the game, man. I'm very excited. I'm probably gonna wrap it up today. Only a few levels left, so yeah. Yeah, definitely wrapped me up. I could not resist.
But yeah, that's pretty much everything I wanted to say on Super Mario Wonder.
Yeah, yeah, same. I really loved it. I think it's a fantastic game, and yeah, man, I look forward to now getting ready for Super Mario RPG when that drops, man. Can't wait. As someone who's never played it, very excited.
Look, I'm tired. I'm really am tired of saying this, but what the hell's going on this year? I don't. You're
I don't
talking.
know,
You're
man.
talking like 40 games that be to the caliber of, like, when you, like, any previous year. It's like, okay, we have like 3, maybe 4
All
games that we
right,
have
all
to
right.
debate. This is like fucking
It's ridiculous.
dozens of
I
them.
can't
I
even
don't
keep up, man. It's just
know.
it's nuts. But it's a good problem to have, obviously. So yeah, I'll take it.
We somehow got like Spider-Man 2 and Super Mario Wonder like same day.
So
On
crazy.
top
I
of that.
can't believe those came out the same day. That's freaking nuts. So.
But no, Alan Wake 2, I mean, I don't need to harp on it anymore, but just know, I mean, it's so much better than I was ever expecting. I just didn't
Can't
think
wait.
I guess the polish and quality was going to be as good as it was, because I thought it was going to be in
Okay.
line with the previous stuff, to where like, okay, this game is really great in these departments, but as a whole, here's a list of flaws when it comes to anything Remedy's
Sure.
done. But this is like, I can't really think of any. I could see somebody maybe being a little like whatever on the detective stuff when you go into, so you actually go into your mind palace, which is really neat. And so when you go into your when you go to think, right, the
Mhm.
world is still happening. It doesn't pause the world state. So like, you can't go into your mind palace when you're in a battle. You're definitely just going to die. But you go into your mind palace, which is like, you go into your mind, you're in this house, and you're able to sort of like organize everything and sort of think everything through, sort everything out of
Mhm.
like, okay, this is this location. Let's start putting in all the evidence that we have of these, like, okay, there was blood on the table here, they cut into the body here. Let's try to make sense of it, to where like, where you look at any like crime movie or TV show where they're sticking stick all over the wall and they're trying to like run it all together to make everything's connect and all that. So you're doing
Mhm.
that on a wall in your mind palace. You have like a radio in there you can listen to different things on, watch whatever on a TV. There's like a big table in the room there of like profiling different people, what you may want to make sense with this person, that person. So there's this whole interactive mind palace, which is super, super neat. I mean, yeah, this has to be the first time a game has done this. And in any moment, you just like, so I'm playing, if I'm playing on keyboard, it's just hitting tab, goes in your mind palace, hit tab to go back out, but it doesn't pause the state of the game. So it's a really cool thing there. But I love all the FBI investigation stuff, all based all around that. And you're constantly just like hearing things, seeing things that you then can sort into the mind palace, which is, I figured I'd also mention. But just its presentation, the way it feels, how just interesting, and it's like I don't know. I think a lot of people are a little worried because you had that weird Crossfire game that somehow Remedy took some part in or something. I
Oh
don't get what
yeah,
was
I
going
forgot
on
about that.
there, but no, this hits and hits harder than anything they've done prior, and b- perfect game to test your rig on as well. So
Yep. Yep. No, I can't wait.
yeah.
Looking forward to it, man.
All right, let's get a new game watch and we'll get out of here. Oh, sorry. I just thought. I am played really dumbly, by the way, because it's starting to really get to me. If I'm not playing on my PC, I'm doing what I was doing episode or two back. I was saying throwing on the VR headset and playing my games in the VR headset, the gigantic screen curved around me, whatever. Well, I'm doing this with this game, and too many times I got way too freaked out. Like, you'll be going in some really spooky spot, something flash on the screen, and like it's too intense for VR. I was like, there's no way. And so I'm reverting back to just playing on my computer with the screen, because I feel I'm gonna end up like, I don't know, having a heart attack or going into a seizure if I keep like that headset on trying to experience this. But holy crap, is it so cool when you like walk
That's
into a
awesome.
diner though, and you're just looking all around, or like it's it's such a neat experience to experience these games in a VR headset. But this game's a little too intense. But man, I just had to mention that it just freaked me out far too many times, and I'm reverting back to just playing on a monitor. And
That's
anyway,
awesome.
new game watch here. WarioWare Move It. Here it is. I'm buying this thing one. I don't care what I have to do.
It looks fun.
I can't wait. The Incredible, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, PC, November 6th. Nickelodeon All Star Brawl 2, November 7th. All platforms. Salt and Sacrifice, Switch, November 7th. Berserk Recharged, all platforms November 9th. That is like an old Atari game that's sort of being remade. And then
Gotcha.
Like a Dragon Gaiden, The Man Who Erased His Name, all platforms but Switch, November 9th.
Very cool. A
We're
lot of
hitting
games. A lot of
the
games, man.
end of the year now, and
I
is
know.
there anything more big that's coming by the I know we talked about literally last episode, but I already forgot. I don't think there's anything else. I think this is now
Uh,
it.
Besides Super Mario RPG, I can't think of anything huge coming.
Yeah. Which Super Mario RPG is going to be huge. I'm super stoked on that. Totally forgot about that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there is one big thing for me. The Persona 5 Tactica. I really want to give that a shot. Oh, and then yeah, I mentioned that, and I mentioned Star Ocean Second Story R. That comes out the 2nd. I'm really dying to play that. So I got those two. I mean, it could be big for a lot of people with the next Yakuza game.
Mm-hmm.
That's still coming, so you have that. Yeah, I think that's it. So I think we finally is able to like breathe and play
Now we
this
can just play.
onslaught.
Just play the games now.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Oh, excuse me.
Yep.
No, I'm looking forward to actually putting a dent in some of these games.
Yes. All right. Till next week. See y'all.
All right. Take care.